Entertainment, I'm Rachel Smith. When Madonna says she feels lucky to be alive, you might recall in June she was hospitalized in the ICU with a serious bacterial infection. Madonna says her family and friends helped her heal. She said, as a mother, it's easy to get caught up in the needs of your children. She also says her kids really showed up for her, and that made all the difference in her recovery. Madonna was forced to postpone the start of her international celebration tour. It will now begin in October. Well, it's all happening, everything, everywhere, all at once. This as Oscar winner Michelle Yeoh finally marries her longtime fiancé, Gene Todd. The two got married in Geneva, Switzerland. Now, this has been a long time coming for the power couple. They have been engaged for 19 years. Yeoh's acting career spans more than 3 decades, and she won her first Academy Award earlier this year for her starring role, of course, in the film Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. The couple met back in 2004 in Shanghai. Congratulations. Well, the Hollywood strike comes down to 2 things for writers and actors: better pay from residuals and protection from artificial intelligence. 12 years, SAG-AFTRA member Brandon Black has been on both streaming and network projects and says the two just aren't the same. And he spoke with our Advocate Channel's Tracy E. Gilchrist about the strike, along with diversity and representation.
You know, one of the things that SAG-AFTRA is looking for is for residuals from streaming channels to be, you know, kind of on par with what the studios had traditionally paid, or you know, something closer, because the disconnect is huge. So I wonder, you know, to whatever extent you feel comfortable, would you talk a little bit about how that has affected you, this lack of residuals?
Yeah, you know, you're catching me at a good time, because since we're on strike, I have plenty of time to go through earnings reports, and I've been combing over all this stuff, because I've been putting the word out on TikTok and Instagram too, because I feel like I've got a good window into how this all is. And you're talking about streaming versus traditional linear cable and TV, right? So without getting into specific shows, I'll just say there's a very successful show on Netflix that I was a part of. I was in 2 episodes of that show. Now, that show, according to, you know, what you can find on the internet, it's kind of hard to find true data about viewership on Netflix specifically. They're, you know, they put out their own things, but it's kind of hard to find, like, you know, Nielsen type data. But 56 million people, 56 million households have watched that show that I'm talking about to completion. So all 10 episodes, right? So I'm in 2 of those 10 episodes. And if 56 million people have seen it all the way through, that means 56 million households streamed the 2 episodes I'm in. You compare that to another show that is a staple on network TV that was watched by 6.83 million households. I was paid 3 times as much in residuals on this primetime TV show versus this Netflix show. And again, this is 6.83 million versus 56 million. And that's not adding up. That's just, I mean, no matter what side you're on, you have to look at that and be like, I see why they're pissed.
Yeah.
You know? So
yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, do you have thoughts about how that can be bridged?
Yeah, you know, it's tough. I think the first thing that has to change is the foreign residual structure. Currently, 35% of what your domestic residual is what your foreign residual is. So if you made $1,000 in residuals domestically, then 35% of that number is what you get for foreign. But again, let's zoom out and talk about what that means. That means for one country, the United States, you get, you know, whatever you get, right? They have some complicated formula for how you come to that number. But then of that number, you get 35% of that for 169 other countries around the world.
Mm. Yeah.
It don't make sense. So I think, I'm not on the SAG negotiating committee or anything like that, but that's a glaring, we have to fix foreign residuals when these are worldwide companies. I'm not sure why they are valued less when they have to pay a subscription fee to watch Netflix like the rest of us,
Right.
So that's the first thing. And then I think we definitely need a much clearer, we need more transparency on viewership and the success of a show. And one of the things that they're saying, one of the things that the producers are hitting back with is that, currently we get paid not on a performance basis. So the show, you get paid a fixed amount, whether the show does good or bad. I can see why that is frustrating to them, but I hope that they can see why it's frustrating to me that, okay, well, I was on a show that was watched by 56 million households.
Right.
And that's not doing anything different for me than 7 million on network TV. So I think, if we're giving and taking, I think that most actors would be fine with performance-based residuals. That's what we're used to anyway. That's what TV does. That's what the commercials that we book to fill in the gaps for this other stuff. That's how we make money.
So when you look at traditionally across the board in any career, BIPOC people, queer people, women are traditionally underpaid compared to their straight cis white male counterparts. And so you have this situation where actors who are a part of telling stories of BIPOC queer people whose stories have not been told. It's so crucial to existence.
One of the shows I was on was a quote unquote black show, and with a new showrunner, and you can see the difference in what that show was paying its actors versus another show with a similar high school college setting on the same streamer. You can see the difference, and one show was watched more than the other, but one show was marketed way more than the other. That's the other thing, is like these shows, the whole one show or one movie a week model has got us to a place where things don't even get marketed. They just kind of come out, and if you find it, you find it, and then maybe it pops. Then you get love for, like the next seasons. But, where we are right now, if you're black, like you said, BIPOC, right? If you're of a marginalized group, it's already a miracle that you're here at working entertainment, period. Like, it's already extremely hard to get your family's support, which, let's just be real, you need if you're gonna start a career where you have 1% chance of making it. And that's for everybody, white, straight, cisgender people, everybody, that's 1%. So you can imagine when you start talking about black trans women, right? It's like, we have to get to a different place where money is not the only thing driving. We're starving all the time, right? And I think when you get to talking about streaming services and you realize that your day rate, your rate for that episode directly translates to the amount of residuals you're going to get forever. These actors sometimes do this show for nothing. Like, one of the shows I'm talking about, I did this show for nothing because I'm just like happy to be on the show and just want to work. And I think that's the plight of most people. And I think it's just being taken advantage of, that it's always like, I just want to just be here. And it's like, I eventually got to a place where it's like, I don't want to kiss this place's ass anymore. I want a more even exchange. I deserve it. And I think we all deserve it.
Well, some sad news out of Hollywood today, as Paul Reubens, the actor best known for playing the character Pee Wee Herman, has died. His death was announced in a post on his verified Instagram page. In the post, Reubens apologizes to his fans for his private 6-year battle with cancer. His fictional character, Pee Wee Herman, first premiered in the 80s and eventually with the movie Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure. The spin-off, Pee Wee's Playhouse, gave several big stars their first huge break, including Lawrence Fishburne, Sandra Bernhard, Natasha Lyonne, and Jimmy Smits. Some of his most recent credits included Gotham, What We Do in the Shadows, and The Blacklist. Paul Reubens was 70 years old. Well, for more, you can watch the Advocate channel live by downloading our app in the Apple or Google Play Store. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching today. For the Advocate channel, I'm Rachel Smith. Take care.